Thank you so much for joining me on today's edition of Business Morning. It's the second edition for the month of February, but of course it's the fourth edition for the week. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. So on the program today, we're taking a look at some of the issues making headlines. They're already trending stories. We're talking about food prices, domestic agri-commodities. The federal government has set up a task force to find out why the prices of food items across the country is on the increase. We've got Okpeyemi Oguntade, who is a senior economic research analyst with financial derivatives, joining me on the program. So she'll be talking to us on some of the issues. And of course, we've had conversations with her on this program, and we've asked what is the state of Nigeria's agri-commodities reserves. So she'll talk to us a little bit more about that particular issue. Also, we'll be taking a look at what else we're expecting to come up in February in just a moment, and talk about news track, and then review midweek trading figures from the Nigerian Stock Exchange, as well as other segments of the market that we track here on the program, including the Nigeria oil and gas, some of the oil and gas stocks listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Plus, we'll focus a little bit more on what's going on in the fixed income segment of the market and how investors are reacting to the results that are trickling in to the market. We've been talking about that since the week began, especially as more companies turn in their 2016 full year results, some are turning in 9-month results. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So let's start the show taking a look at some of the top stories that are trending at this time. Nigeria's Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun says the planned sale of the $1 billion Eurobond may happen soon, subject to, of course, the approval of the National Assembly. Although the minister did not give details, we know that Eurobond is the first tranche of a $4.5 billion global medium-term notes issuance program that runs through 2016 to 2018. Now, the approved managers of the Eurobond are Citigroup, Standard Chartered Bank, Stanbic IBTC, Africa Practice Communications Advisors, among others. Well, also in the news, the federal government, as I said, has set up a task force to check the rise of food prices across the country. That was decided at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting, which held yesterday in the nation's capital, with the acting president and Nigeria's vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, presiding. Also in the news, the federal government approved the revised national tax policy. Now, this policy will see the value-added tax on luxury items like champagne increasing from the current 5%, among other changes. Remember that the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan actually unveiled this as part of austerity measures and identified some of these items that were to be included among those that would begin to pay taxes. So apart from your champagne, even if you have luxury yachts, that also falls on that, and luxury cars as well as private jets. Also in the news, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it will begin to penalize banks, that is, that have liquidity challenges by way of temporary suspension from its lending window. Now, this was contained in a circular issued on Wednesday. The Apex Bank actually announced that these new rules will guide how financial institutions can borrow cash from fellow banks or the central bank to cover their temporary shortfalls or meet their obligations. So what else is happening? As I already mentioned, there are a couple of stories we're tracking in this month. And of course, as the month unfolds, we'll get more issues that we have on our radar. Let's quickly remind you that more 2016 corporate earnings are expected to hit the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Already some are coming in trickles, and investors are reacting accordingly. We'll be talking much later to Oluwashino Oluba, who is the head of research at GDL Securities. He'll be giving us his thoughts on that. Also, FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange signs a memorandum of understanding with S&P Dow Jones indices. That comes up next week, and we'll be talking a little bit about how this will likely be affecting investors' appetite towards the fixed income segment of the market. Ibrahim Babalola, investment research analyst with AfriInvest, joins me to focus on this in just a bit. And the Securities and Exchange Commission holds a seminar on Budget 2017 in Lagos, as well as expected data from the